Japan's also getting flooded too. It was hard to pick between Japan or China's devastation. Ew, that was devastation, that's for sure. Hey, forgot to pay the toll. Alrighty. Alright, let's get started here. Enough of that intro. It's amazing what's going on here. All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back, and let's just say I'm lucky to be back right now because just a few moments ago, when I was saying prayers right before this show, sitting on a lawn chair out on the grass, during the prayers, I look up and see a beautiful shooting star, long duration shooting star with a nice long tail. I'm right in the middle of the prayer, right on the same word. Boom, this beautiful shooting star. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Thank you, Jesus. And I feel something touching my feet. And I look down, and in between my feet is a snake coming out from underneath the chair, right in between my feet. And I looked down, oh my gosh. So I held still until it slithered away, and then went and grabbed the flashlight. It was a 4 foot long rattlesnake. Yeah. So I'm overcoming being rattled as we speak. So sorry we're a little late, but I'm in the middle of just kind of catching my breath here because just moments ago I was dancing with a rattlesnake. Without a shovel, without weapons or tools, I was just defenseless sitting there. And I was thanking the Lord for protection, and out slithers a snake from right in between my feet. Amazing. Two miracles within one prayer while I was praying for you guys and for us before the show. All right. Whew, now that I got that out, I'm sorry. It's still there's a reason why they call them rattlesnakes. Not just because of the little rattle on their tail. It's because when you dance with one, they're a little rattled afterwards. Okay, so bear with me as we try to get through this. All right, opening frame. This is August 2nd. Okay, so I cheated and used this for that's tomorrow, looking into tomorrow already. But what's going on here is let's go back and open up the first here. And while that's loading up, I want to thank you guys for taking a moment this time to be here with this precious family. Okay. Truly, truly protected by the Lord, especially tonight. Uh, I should be in the ER right now or in an ambulance on the way to the hospital instead of doing the show. So the Lord spared me. Got, almost got bit by a rattlesnake just now. All right. I want you to notice our data is just jumping all over the place. So there is a bunch of missing data, and it just looks like this jumbled mess. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try to catch the opening frame here. Okay, so here we are. Whoops, we still got these hiding in the background. And then get out of there too. All right, so here we are, the opening frame of August 1st, 2024. Okay. Let me slide here. Adrenaline rush is still kind of going, so forgive me here. All right, as we go in, we're opening frame 024, 036, and as we start marching through this, you see our little thing emitting from down here. We also have another event going over there, something popping off out of there. Then, look, we jump from 412 down here. Our next frame is 924. We're midway through an event that's got this trailing stuff left. So there was a big widespread event. You can see how wide the stretch is here, and we're catching just the trailing moons of it, okay, at 924. So then we're going to continue as those move on out. It looks like a full halo CME type structure, or a halo, not a full, but a partial halo type structure. Then we skip from 1124 to 1636, picking up on tail end event. Then it jumps from a 1912 to 2312. And we're midway event going on right here. Okay. Boom. Boom. 2348. And that was the last frame right there. And you can see our dark core right here. It's got plasma still glowing around the top of it there. And what I did is I snuck into the next day because that one was just so jumbled. And here we had a little more, a little better capture of what's going on there. Please start that. Okay, it's not much. It's just a few frames. Actually, let's slow that down. Okay, you can see our black round spherical object moving on out, taking plasma with it. Teardrop effect going back, and then something else starting to pop off up here at the top. But there's your object moving on out. Okay. Then also what I wanted to do is show you here on stereo A, because stereo A takes a frame every hour. It's not as much data, but at least there's some data here. And well, let's pick up the opening frame right there. So opening frame from stereo A. This is used to be Old Faithful here, but it's off to the side of the earth now. So we're going to march through this. And this is August 1st. Here was that one that came out lower. All right. Stereo A is just off to the right of the earth. So it has a similar perspective than that Soho does, but it's just off by an angle. But there's your black round spherical object with plasma out in front of it. You can see it really good there. Okay, and that lower one that was coming out. Now let's proceed here. Because here comes this event, that widespread event that I was telling you about that we caught the tail end of. Let's go that frame right there. And we'll zoom. Does that shape look familiar? Weren't we looking at something like that just last night? Here you can see your bigger spherical, well, here you can see your bigger spherical object structure, plasma stretching out, going in front of it, going around over the top, flaring off the top of the sphere. Here's a little planetoid satellite that's with it. And I think we do this with stereo A. It might just kind of, ooh, there it is right there. Now, do you see it? Yeah, it captures it pretty well. I like stereo A. I got a lot of good images from this a long time ago. So for me, stereo A is still faithful. And right there, there's your bigger object. Okay, you can see the plasma reaching out, going up over it. The little satellites accompanying it. Oh, we got it right back up now. All right, so that's kind of why I brought you over here to stereo A, was because here it captured it. Oh, bear with me. Whew, my heart is racing still. All right. And there it kind of goes on out of frame. Looks to be something else right in there. There's a backup one. It's too bad this takes one per hour. All right. Ooh, right there you can see it. Ooh, let's darken that a little bit. Whoops. Pull that back over. Here in this previous frame right here, you can see a little satellite right there and a moon, another planetoid rotating, orbiting the bigger one. All right. Oh, Christine, you're already going. Well, maybe not. All right. Whoops, wrong direction. We're brighten it back up now. All right. So there was that event kind of hidden there on Stereo A. Just kind of wanted to show you that there. Sorry if it rattles you, but you hang out until the end of the show. We'll fix that problem. All right. So there's your events from today. Pretty crazy activity going on our sun. Crazy activity going on our planet. Crazy activity going on in everybody's heads too. You gotta fix that though. All right. Here we go. Our main solar flux index is at 234. Still way up there in the red zone. It's only down 1 point. Our sunspot number count dropped 11, which is good. We were up at 271. And that was getting a little too much. Area still in the red as well. And then let me zoom in on this real quick. Oh, my own voice is shaking my heart. All right, we still got this very, very complex sunspot structure over here. It's right where our IMF line hooks up. So any kind of little trigger from our IMF line could trigger something as well. Over here we got 3772, and then this whole mess 3774 coming in. That's gonna be well, concerning. That's the one that was firing off all the big stuff on the backside. Oh, okay, so there's that. Then we were talking solar flux indices still way up there. Okay, so as we go in here real quick, our 2 day or our geomagnetic forecast tomorrow is clear, but then they're looking for G2 again on the 3rd and G2 on the 4th. We just had a couple of storms. We don't need more. Okay, so hang on. Let me a little better for this one right there. Now, as you can see, we already looked at this right here. Today's bumpy day. Okay, and then also looking back at yesterday, from here all the way through, we've just been bang, 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 big time roller coaster day. And then here's our latest event that we just kind of watched right there. Boom. All right, and that was almost an X flare. It's a pretty strong M flare. All of these have been just under X flare and really, really strong M flares lately. So we could be thankful that they're not X flares at least. Okay, now with our solar flux indices so high, the chance for X flares is up at 25%. Also, because we got some sunspots that are beta, gamma, delta as well. Our D layer, we have a little absorption going on here. I didn't pull one up for us. Here, let's pull one up real quick because we need to see what kind of hits we took today. Any kind of absorption eat up the ionosphere, heats up the air, heats up the atmosphere. Ones that hit the magnetic field go down to the core of the Earth. So all this energy being absorbed is not good. Nothing too bad. There's no red in that one. There. Boom. Another good hit right there over China and everybody again. And that was, well, probably within the last couple hours right here, because we're going to finish off this little counter thing here. So there's one impact. Yeah, so we just had one not too long ago over Asia right there. Boom. Okay, so now coming back. So there's your D-layer absorption for right now. Also, our sun or our flares today. We had M4, M8, another M4, a 6.3. Okay, so we had a few more M flares right there today. Meanwhile, over here, auroras are really quiet right now, but here you can see we've had three good, blasts here, some impacts, some G1 storming. This gets caught by the magnetic field, sent to the poles. The poles take it, direct it to the core. The core then heats up and swells. The core is metal. Metal, when heated, expands. The shell expands. It can't expand outward, it expands downward back onto the core, and we get grinding. That's going to cause more grinding. That's going to cause more earthquakes, more volcanoes, more fires, more SO2 emissions. It's pressure building down below. All that gets absorbed right there. Okay. Now let's come on over here. 74, that's the one that's rotating into view right now, is only beta gamma, thank you, and it's stable. I'll take that all day. Meanwhile, 72 is beta gamma delta and stable. Thankfully, it's stable. The other one, 68, is beta gamma delta and growing. We got to watch that one. Down here, we got 65 is beta gamma delta and stable. Okay, so we caught a lot of beta gamma deltas on there, right? This one's declining. Thankfully, 66 is declining. Okay. So we have a lot of dangerous magnetic interference causing sunspots, long duration M flares. Early Thursday morning produced a coronal mass ejection that appears to be heading mostly to the west. NOAA and SPISC are still predicting that the edge of the shock front will pass Earth by August 3rd. Okay. August 3rd. So, a moderate G2 geomagnetic storm watch has been added for August 3rd and 4th. And as you've probably figured out, we must take these forecast models with a grain of salt. Yep. Okay, let's read that one. Actually, let's open the tracker real quick. Okay, let's look at that for a minute. Oh, get this water here. My heart is still racing from that. Still rattled. Okay. Look at this. Look how it's hooking up with the magnetic line right here at the end and causing like a double bow shock wave. See that kind of stuff? All right. What I want to do though is I want to click on this thing and get it open and large size, so we can take control of the thing. Because I want to see right here, between the 3rd and the 4th, right here is where they're calling for impacted Earth. With pretty good plasma and the density about 500, or velocity, I'm sorry, about 500, and the density up here at 30. All right, so impact right there. And look how it combines up right here with the double wave effect. Hitting what stereo B, which is out of commission. That little red dot is stereo A. Okay, so impacted Earth. Here we go. Midway through the 3rd. All right, right on the chin again. And that'll be more energy, more grinding, more earthquakes, more higher volcanic blasts, fires. It's just every time we take an impact, expect that, unfortunately. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Long duration, we read that one. Oh, yeah, that's the one. Long duration M82 flare was just observed around 3768 nearing the west limb. The event appears to be eruptive and will likely produce a coronal mass ejection. Due to the location towards the limb, the potential CME should be directed most towards the west and away from our planet. 68. Wait a second. Over here, just outside the IMF line. Okay, so it is going to blow away. I thought maybe it was right still in that area. Because if it was out inside the IMF line, it would send us something. All right, never mind. Backing out. I think we were done there. Just real quick, here it is right there on that. The 8.2. Here we go also. The first distinct M flare of the month of August, the impulsive M6.3 solar flare was produced at AR-73 and in the southwest quadrant. And despite the rapid nature of the event, some plasma appears to be leaving the flare site, but should likely be directed to the west and away from Earth. Geomagnetic storm, by the way, minor G1 geomagnetic storming persists in the wake of at least a couple of CME passages since early Tuesday. Isolated periods of storming will remain possible during the next 24 hours. Okay, let's get on over here. Spacewar.com. Get some lines out the way there. Okay, NOAA has issued a geomagnetic storm watch for August 3rd when a CME is expected to graze Earth's magnetic field. Okay, so CME could spark a G2 class geomagnetic storm and naked eye auroras in the northern tier of the United States. Some auroras that were filmed last time. Okay. All right, coming over to the Schumann here. All right. I'll let that sit there for a second. You can see that we had this small little event yesterday, came out of it pretty good continuity for most of the day, and then bingo, we got hit with our geomagnetic storm. It's finally reached the core swelled, the core and the shell start grinding, and there was a tapering off. Probably had a good volcanic blast or something towards the end here, and then it shut it down. Still kind of tapered off towards the end. We had good continuity. Then it looks like we're going into another blast here. We just refreshed. Well, not too bad right here, but it got a little weak after all this right there, but then we're going back to normal. So this probably did a number on you today. I was doing my best to maintain composure, and out of nowhere, it's like, damn, someone hit you with a sledgehammer. Or like tonight, during my prayers, out of nowhere, a rattlesnake comes out from between my feet. I'm sitting there bare feet, and I feel something hitting my pant leg. Looked down, I thought it was a garter snake, a 4-foot long rattlesnake. I'm lucky to be here right now. Thank you, Jesus. All right, so there's your Schumann. That did a number on the animals, did a number on you. It's also an indication of we had some good earthquake or volcanic activity that diminished this pressure and it finally tapered off. Okay, so there's say it twice. Okay, now over here, we're already set up at the weather. I just want to really kind of point out, look at this little change up here we've had in the Pacific. Almost like this little figure 8 type infinity structure weird thing here. All right, we got this little thing growing off the coast of Mexico, heading out that way. Meanwhile, we still have this thing up here by Iceland and Greenland. It's shifted a little bit more this way towards England. And look what it's doing. It's just taking all that moisture and just walloping Ireland, England, all that area right now. So they're getting hit with a pretty good storm right there. Also want to look at this up at the top here. We're Starting to get a vortex spinning up here at the top. All right, and then we also had it over here. I just wanted you to see how this southern fetch coming out of the southern hemisphere into the northern hemisphere is actually pulling off this horn. The shape of this horn is actually causing the flow. It's almost like this kind of flow has happened before and has shaped that. A lot of these flows that we're seeing look very reminiscent of, you know, shoreline production over years and years. Anyways, there's that. That's persisting as far as the weather. And then over here is that effect. Now, what I want to do is come back, take you over here to the sandstorm that is choking off any kind of hurricane production. Let me pull back a little bit. There we go. All right, here we are over at Africa. It's flexing its arm like a muscle, and off comes all this sand. We got a break right there where a storm could build, and then we got this other storm that's coming up through here, and it's in between this sand and this sand, so it's going to be able to produce once it gets into this clearer area. See what I'm saying? And our water temperatures in the Gulf are pretty hot right now. So this one that's coming through might actually be able to gain strength and produce because it's in between those two sand blobs. Okay. Also, this little area here we'll have to watch. But meanwhile, the sand is choking off a lot of the hurricane production. It should have been a lot worse. We have been dodging bullets, so that's good. Thank you, Lord. All right. Meanwhile, as we go east here, you can see Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, one big mess. Okay, even going up into this area now, going across India, we have the Gobi Desert sandstorm, and then look at this, reaching all the way up into Siberia. Crazy, huh? Been going since November of last year, one long sandstorm event that's every day since November, all the way through winter. Crazy. All right, so there's your sandstorm. Thankfully, it's cutting down the production of hurricanes. Now we come over here to the chemicals. I want to come over and do an SO2 report for you guys really quick. Let's spin her around. Okay, here we are. The country divided. One side bleeding out, the other side having volcanic or emission at volcanic sites and perforations in the crust. Okay, so let's see if we can do this again. Shall we? Oh, well. Look here. Because the last few nights I've been trying to report on the fires and they have been missing. But look, they're back. And here we are. That's Mount Rainier. It looks like there's SO2 emissions and fires happening here. These sites up here as well. Up here in British Columbia, or not British Columbia, but up here in Alberta, Canada. Okay, now not every site has a fire, so this is not just SO2 from burning trees. The gas is so hot when it emits from the ground that it causes spontaneous combustion of any kind of foliage in the area. Okay, sparking fires. Here we are down Southern California. We're talking about this one last night. As very strong SO2 emissions, and they've had that fire there. Okay. Meanwhile, we have this one in Northern California that's still going, the Park Fire, and very strong SO2 emissions coming out of that region. Now, look at this. This whole area seems to be one blob. I need to see some wind just in case, because that better be from the wind. Ooh. Uh-oh. And we got a fire growing right in the middle of that right there, too. It looks like maybe this site is so strong these curling winds going over the areas might be filling this little valley, I guess. We'll have to watch it carefully because this is getting a little cray. Thank you, Lord, for having it back up there at the fires because this is important. Now, it used to be up in Canada. Now it's creeped down into Washington, Oregon. You see most of Oregon having issues, okay, up in Washington. And then it's reached all the way down to Southern California now. Now look at this. Over here in the Rockies, we're starting to see fires here at SO2 emission sites here in the Rockies. All right, so you guys beware. Find your spot on the map. Make sure there's no SO2 emission spot around you because if there is, watch it carefully. Luckily, over here on the East Coast, it's a different story. It's just gas coming out of the ground because it's so loose and porous, right? But over here, all this rock, it's got to fight up through little canals and channels in the crust. And it's not just us, it's affected up here. Russia's having their issues too, okay? Here we'll even back up for their daytime. Here we'll take the fires off now because they're kind of distracting for this. But luckily they were on there. Now we can do a report properly. And it's important that you guys understand that fires can spark from underground, okay? Anywhere, anytime, around a certain weak spot, that can happen. You want to see Utah real quick? Yeah, let's go back. Let me put it back on our time. Okay, Salt Lake City right here. Let me draw out Utah for you. It comes up, boom, wait. Up, over, down. So there's Utah, Salt Lake City right there. I'll let that sit there for a second so you can get your own little perspective of where you're looking for there. East of I-15 South, well, I'm sorry, there's no road maps on here, so you'll have to just kind of guesstimate whereabouts. Utah's pretty open, wide open and everything, and that's like one of the safest spots, that and like Nevada here. So those are some of the safer places right for the moment right there. Okay, as we go on down, you see it's going on in Jamaica. All the way down. There's our fulcrum point. It's doing pretty strong right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, Christine. I'm not quite sure where I-15 South is compared to that map. So, fulcrum point quake still, or fulcrum point area is still emitting very strong. Same with this one up here. This one's picked up in its definition. It's more organized and defined. Still lots of pressure going on down through there. Okay. Let me zoom back out a little bit. We were too zoomed in there. A little stop off at Hawaii real quick. Yep. Ooh, a little stronger emissions coming out of Oahu right there. Okay, so when pressure builds up, it comes out of the hub of the rim too. So pressure building there. It's good. It's relieving pressure as well. Now back over here. I'll get back to their daytime. I'm glad the fire thing was back on there. It's important we be able to track that. You can't just leave the people not knowing what's going on there. Here we go. Purple Island of Java. It's very intense, pretty dark right there. So you can tell pressure is built up. Sumatra is filling in this little point at the tip of Malaysia. You see it going all the way up through China. Okay, they got issues. You should be okay. If you're going to go to the center of Utah, or in Utah, you'll be all right. Meanwhile, this is spread up into here and down into the Korean Peninsula. Okay, you see Japan has its issues as well. And here's Taiwan. Okay, it still has these emissions in Taiwan seem to have diminished a little bit compared to yesterday. So I want to make sure we're getting proper colorization. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want it looking darker than it is. I want you guys to get an honest reading here. There we go. Yeah, that matches. That's way better. So, because if you look here, the emissions here at Taiwan have lightened. There's still this one little spot here. And then you can see down here in the Philippines, that area is picked up in intensity right there. And then Java, Australia also has intense little spots now. Then also I want to point out here, this little area right here has SO2 emissions. This little island has two little like pinholes, like slow leaks in an inner tube. It relieves pressure. Pressure can't build up too much right here as it enters the system because it's already getting a little, a little leakage of pressure right there. ADD, I guess. Obsessive compulsive. All right, so now something else is going on here. Here in our deep region at Fiji, I've been here before to Fiji. It's starting to have SO2 emissions. It's starting to go volcanic too now. We're having SO2 emissions out of our deep quake region right here at Fiji. Okay. All right, now we're going to do the ocean report. Everybody take a deep breath. Sea surface temperature anomalies for now. This says 7:31. Good. That was yesterday. It's about the closest we can get. Meanwhile, this, we were talking about how this yellow bar has diminished, but look right here. Do you see this yellow patch? That is brand new from yesterday. This was nice and dark red. It has intensified right here off the coast of Oregon and Washington, right there. You guys, everybody pay attention here. You see what the hell's going on? I'm going to come over here. Look at this. Pull this up. I want you to see the shape of the Juan de Fuca right here. Slow down, Brian. Getting excited because I see what's happening here. All right, you see the shape of this Juan de Fuca right here? Do you see the shelf right here? And the plate boundary right here. This is where your cool water is staying, is right in that area, and it's increasing. Pressure is increasing right in that area. We haven't had a quake there in a while. Everybody in Oregon and Washington, be on alert. Okay, I would back away from the coastline. Everybody should be backing away from the coastline. That is a lot more pressure than yesterday. In fact, what I'm going to have to do here, sorry I have to do this, but we're going to have to come over the calendar. All right, here's, you can see it right there, right? I'll go back to yesterday and watch when I hit OK. Let's go back one more day. Go to the 29th. Watch that same spot. Okay, it was nice and calm right there. We go to the 31st. Now watch that spot. Yeah. Everybody in this area, be on alert. The potential for an earthquake there is getting pretty good now. Pressure has increased in the area. We are having hot water heat emissions right here, indicating pressure right on the Juan de Fuca. And we haven't had a quake there. We were seeing some mid-range 5s that was relieving energy there, and now it's not doing it. So everybody in this region, be on alert. It's growing. Meanwhile, this area has kind of shrunk and concentrated more into this area, maybe because of that. Meanwhile, you can see all up in here around Korea Peninsula is getting really hot. Also around Japan here. We'll put the winds back on in a minute. I just need you guys to. Oh, wow. That's a lot of hot water up there at the North Pole. And even in this region right here, this top of the world, showing red coming up through there, heat signatures. It's all ice up there. Showing heat signatures under the ice. And let's come over here. We got this huge plume. This is actually stretching down into here now. Okay, this area was like a triangle that came out like this. Now it's growing down in here, and now this. What I'm gonna have to do, I'll put it right over there again. Come over to the calendar. Okay, we're gonna go back a week to the 24th. A week ago, it was like that. Remember when we were showing you reports of when it looked like that? Now, within the course of a week, let me get it right there. Okay, so that was okay. Yeah, I get it. So we've had it's spreading out and growing down this way. We also have a spot right here getting pretty warm there. Okay, ooh, look, cold water emission right here again. Oh, I hope this thing starts sprouting more cold water. That would be perfect right now to cool the whole Gulf right there. Barely cold water hanging out through there. Some off the coast here, but all in all, kind of diminishing. All right, here comes the wind. And we'll see how these thermodynamics are now controlling the wind patterns and the weather patterns. No longer is our weather being controlled from the jet streams up above. It's being controlled by the thermal uplift, downdraft, vortex structures of air forming over these hot water patches. Okay. The heat coming off the ocean correlates basically to the air temperature as well in that region. Okay. So you got hotter air coming off the North Pacific. It's causing, there's cooler water down here actually causing rotation here. Here we got hot, cold, and rotation. See what I'm saying? And now we've got the conveyor belt structure. We're just, whoops, adjust and quit moving it, Brian. Conveyor belt structure going like this, coming into the Gulf, right up through the country, taking a hard right, and then going off the East Coast back into this. We also have an inside loop right here. Okay, the more intense this heat gets, the more organized this structure will become. Okay, right now this should be licking one hurricane after another right off the coast of Africa, throwing them into this conveyor belt. At this point, we are lucky that there are not 8 to 10 evenly distributed category 3 to 5 hurricanes rotating around this like on a belt, just one after another after another. So imagine one here, one there, 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 all evenly spaced, 8 of them at the same time rotating around a conveyor belt like that. That could be possible if we continue with this heat anomaly. What's killing it is the sand. We need to keep that sandstorm going because that's diminishing the hurricane genesis, the formation of hurricanes via the convection of thunderstorms, right? It cuts down on the convection, cuts down on the thunderstorms, which in turn kill a hurricane. So the sand coming off there is killing the hurricanes. Now let's come over to the Pacific here and take a look at this new wind pattern, especially because of this new heat plume right here. It has changed the whole structure of our conveyor belt over here, hasn't it? This one has become more, has reduced in size but more organized, smaller but more organized and intense. So we got a vortex creating around it mainly. Okay. Meanwhile, we still have all these little heat plumes sending hot water up into it. So these heat plumes, this heat structure is controlling the weather patterns now. Like I said, no longer a weather being controlled by the upper jet. Now, as we go into Java here, you can see that the water off the coast is still kind of cool because it's relieving pressure in the area. They come up to, let me take the wind off now. Come up here to Taiwan. Please take this down. You can see that we still have a little cold water plume here off the northern tip of Taiwan here and over here. And this is our fulcrum point, relieving pressure in the area. So it was getting pretty bad. There was yellow in the area. So we've had some pressure release via the SO2 emissions and some small quakes in the region. Okay. You can see heat is building here and we're squeezing cold water into this area. And then there's Java. Meanwhile, we got this big heat plume building here now off the coast, away from Java, out here in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Down at the southern hemisphere, all kinds of perforations in the crust down there. Cold water coming up, being injected into the equator, though. Ooh, cold water coming into this part of the equator as well. All right, let me go ahead and put the wind pattern right back on one more time. Okay, very concerning. Magma is being thrust towards the surface via pressure down below. It's pushing up on the underside of the crust, trying to get its way out. And there's perforations, weak spots, fractures, faults. Well, any kind of perforation is where it's trying to get out. It's shoving SO2 out, and then also hot water, as well as probably magma, especially out here in the Atlantic, where the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is. You're seeing magma, nickel, cesium. So definitely we got a problem there. Okay, so there's that for now. Now, over here at this Juan de Fuca, you can see it's very quiet. We need to see more quake activity in that region. Now, let's get into our main quake report. No deep activity around Fiji right here, but over here we have this 5.0, and it's not totally deep. It's down at 228. It's like a third of the way down, but a 5, not at the surface, but a third of the way down. Kind of a semi-deep quake for the day. Okay, pressure has made it from deeper, and it's coming up. It's almost to the surface. It's a third way down there, so it's coming up. Meanwhile, nothing at the entrance because we have pressure relieving on that island. Volcanoes through here relieving pressure. There's a quake here, 4.6 down at 156. This is probably a little volcanic island right here. Yep. Earthquake on the flank of a volcanic island. Indication of pressure down below coming up from the surface. Here, 4.7 at the surface there. Well, energy being relieved there. Now, nothing at Taiwan, but just we were seeing stuff to the south of it, and now up here to the northeast, 4.5 down at 51. That is another volcanic island out there on the flank of this little volcanic island right there. Down at 51, yeah, mid-range 4 at 51. If it's at like 10 and it's on the plate boundary, it's like a surface, but when you see it a little bit deeper, it's usually some kind of volcanic feature. Here we are off the coast of Japan, 4.5 down at 30. Let's go take a peek. Even though it's all the plate boundary, it's all smooth right through there. There's no shelf per se. Almost a diver's quake. Except that it's just, we got so many faults right here. That whole area is just like one big quake. That would be a diverse quake, but it's, well, Japan is just so, look at it. We got plate boundary goes right through the island. There's a three-way convergence right there. With a boundary going down, a plate there, and a boundary going that way with a plate there. So anything in that region is just kind of because of this whole structure. Here's another three-way plate boundary. So, but pretty darn close. Moving along, moving along. We'll do the USA at the end with all magnitude. Let's come over here. Really quiet through this region. Okay, we saw pressure building out here off the coast of off the coast of Java there. So that's probably the pressure right there coming out of that thing. Meanwhile, this is a little further north. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Usually our fulcrum point right about in there. This is kind of outside that zone. This is a, let's go take a little peek. It's at the surface. What are we looking at here? Drainage that runs off into these flatlands out here. Yeah, you can see how water runs down into here. Probably makes a little weak zone through there. This could have been a little landslide on this slope going down in there. So, 4.4 down to 11. Not a landslide, but something happened there. That's almost kind of a little diverse quake in its own. Meanwhile, here we are, plate boundary, 4.5 at the surface. Ooh, I see Italy, but what's this real quick? 4.3 in Romania, down at 133. Some volcanic feature there. I want to see what's going on here in Italy. About time, the 5.1 down at 25. Campania, Italy. We'll have to watch this area. 5.1. There's not fault structure or volcanic feature. Well, what's this? Pressure down below. There's a big magma chamber down there, and we need to see a lot of this right here. 5.1 down at 25. Yeah, it's relieving pressure in the area. It didn't get it all the way to the surface, but the terrain looks pretty thick and tough. The crust looks a little kind of a little thicker right in that spot right there. Okay, so there's most of the world. We did this plate boundary down here. 5.1 Southeast Indian Ridge, surface, that's good. We got a boundary quake over here too, 5.0 on the West Chili Rise down at 10. Meanwhile, we got that, another plate boundary, 4.2, maybe on the beach. Yeah, it's just off the plate boundary. That's why it's down on 34. Okay, we took care of those. Little magnitude check in here. 4.1. We have definitely seen a big increase in pressure and magnitude in that area. 4.6 right here. That's not too bad either. Let's talk about Hawaii because it's got a bunch of red on it. 3 new quakes of 2.8, 2.8, 2.5. I thought it was going to be an 8, but all pretty much same magnitude, all very recent. Okay, so pressure's coming up to the hub right there, relieving, right there at the volcano. All right, let's do all magnitude for the U.S. For America. All right, nothing at the fulcrum point. Actually, as we go in. Just little small ones right here, not as many in this region today, but all up through these volcanic islands, we're seeing activity. We've been seeing a quake here every day and checking magnitude. This today had a 5.6 at the surface with a tsunami alert. Tsunami alert's probably even less, but it was a 5.6 and it was enough to trigger a bunch of little aftershocks in the region here. 2.6. What's this one? 2.7. Okay, so pretty healthy quake right there at the surface, relieving a bunch of energy, along with all the aftershocks relieving energy too. That's why I keep checking that little spot right there. Yeah. Okay, just reading a little comments in the chat. Thank you very much for your comments, by the way. You guys are awesome. 2.1, 2.5. Very top of the fulcrum, 3.2. There is one that goes like that right there. Barely make it out, but right up at the very top of the fulcrum right there. 3.2, and there is no depth on that one. Oh, fulcrum point quake. That's the 3.2 energy that I'm looking for coming down the other way. So what happened here? 3.3. Here we go. 3.3 coming on in, and no 3 or anything of that equal magnitude there at the Juan de Fuca. Very concerning. We need pressure releases here at the Juan de Fuca. I would love to see some mid-range 5s go off out there, relieving pressure. We're going to see something. We're going to see something out here real soon. Meanwhile, around the Puget Sound, not much. What's the magnitude of this in here? 2.3. Nothing around Rainier right now. Still microquaking around St. Helens there. Nothing at these guys today. Coming down. All right, Fulcrum Point quake coming in. Bingo. 1.8. It should have been a 3 right around there, but that's okay. 2.5 up there. Now pushing inland, it doesn't want to turn the corner, so it'll push inland. There's no inland right here, but a little bit further down, we did get a 1.5 there. As you can see, the geysers are currently having quakes of the same magnitude as Hawaii here. Okay, so it's quaking. Pressures hit the surface, and now we're seeing quakes at our relief valves. Right there, Hawaii. Shit, we just had a quake over here. All right, real quick, let's finish off the bay. 2 there. Plate boundary. Kind of quiet along the, yeah, real quiet along there. Pushing inland a little bit, it looks like. What is this out here? 1.6, 2.6. All right, what's that? 3 in Bishop. All right, we're seeing the magnitude. Oh, it seems like the pressure kind of came in a little further inland here. All right, well, very quiet along there because it kind of came further inland, as you can see right through this zone. This is where your 3s and your 2 magnitude energy kind of distributed right through there instead of along this, because this looks to be kind of locked up right in there. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's get on over to Texas. Mexico, New Mexico here. Still little small things there. Not too much in Texas. Up here in Oklahoma. Nothing on the Craton. That's the 4.6 in Yalina, Mexico. Yeah, volcanic site area right here looks to be. All right. So there is your quake report. There's quake activity going on at Iceland along the Mid Atlantic Ridge. They're not going to show you that stuff because well, they're just not reporting on it. It's just not there. But I can tell you that there is. Okay, we saw the heat coming out of this plume right here. There is no way there is no kind of, or earthquake activity not going on in that region. Okay. Even if they're just little micro tremors, there's something going on there. Okay. Anyways, there's your quake report. Now, let me get rid of some of these instruments here, take down some of this stuff so I can open up a volcano report. We'll do that. And then I got some wonderful stuff for our spiritual report tonight. Because today was quite a day, wasn't it? I bet you guys are ready. 34 and 28. We're still at 62 volcanoes. That's a cool car. Even though I'm not. I'm more of a truck guy. What the, get out there. Just a good old boy driving a truck. All right, here we go. Epico, 16,000. That's pretty high for that one right there. There's some of your pressure right there coming out of that one. Bongana back on the list. 25,000 foot out of this newcomer onto the list. There's some of your pressure being relieved right there. Right there. 25,000 out of Bongana. Ibu, 10,000 feet. Okay, you're seeing these higher blasts, aren't you? Semeru maxing at 15 like usual. Songay 21. Sabancaya 20. And that was just in the last few minutes. Look at that. Bongana, Papua New Guinea, explosive activity continues. Warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to 25,000 feet. Told you there was pressure building up down there. Okay, let's tap onto August 1st, which is today, which is now yesterday. Boy, how time flies at this channel, huh? All right, back to Ibu, 10,000, same blast. Luatobi, 9,000. Semeru, maxing 15. Semeru, Dakota. Looking to get your car stolen? Put all this wonderful stuff on the back of it like that. I'm sure it'll get taken pretty quick. 15,000 feet out of, what was that, Luatobi? Clear up there? No, Semeru. All right, same report. Ducono, 8,000 feet. Fuego, 15. Nevada del Ruiz back on the map at a 20,000 foot blast. 24 out of Sangay. Reventador, still going off. 22 at Sabancaya. And then that was it. Okay, no list tonight, but a lot of pressure, a lot of heights, big heights coming out of this. New ones coming onto the list at 25,000, registering 25,000 foot blast, jumping onto the list. Yeah, that's pressure being relieved right there for sure. Whew. All right, weather report, and then we can move. Let that load up. Okay, weather has been very volatile lately, even when it's not predicting, stuff. Storms are still breaking out. So we'll have to just take it day by day, like 3-day chunks into the future at a time until, activity on the sun. It dictates our weather too. Okay, and one thing I shouldn't have taken down was the other page, but can do one more real quick because I gotta keep referring back to it visually for you guys. Now, tomorrow, August 2nd, G0, no geomagnetic storming predicted. Okay, predicted. Hopefully, we don't get anything tomorrow. Hopefully, you don't get anything ever again, but unfortunately, we're going to have G2 on the 3rd and on the 4th. So, here we go. The first, we're going to. Thank you, God. Excuse me. The twinges of pain sometimes. It's embarrassing. Now, nighttime August 1st. Now, here we go into the 2nd. Remember, this G1, or no, G0 that day. So, there's the morning, noon, convection, just a tad bit right there by New York City. And then the nighttime of the 2nd. Now, here we go, morning of the 3rd. Add any kind of energy to whatever's going on here on the 3rd. G2. If it's a G2, it could be, fairly decent. If it's a G1, it won't be so much. Enhancement, I mean. So, morning of the 3rd, noon, convection. Watch out for enhancement in that convection from Florida all the way up the coast here. Okay, watch out. It's showing little pop-ups here and there, which are isolated supercells, but it could be enhanced by the geomagnetic storm on the 2nd. So watch out for convection through that whole area. Do you see what I'm saying? There's little yellow pock marks up in here and stuff too. They're very small, but any one of those could bust out crazy if it has some kind of geomagnetic enhancement. Convection, nighttime, again, enhancement here. That could be, it's already in the red. We're looking at, hatch risk already. So add enhancement to a hatch risk. That could possibly be a very dangerous situation. Everybody in middle of Minnesota, pay attention on August 3rd from convection through the nighttime, please. As we go into the morning, you can see this thing winding up right here on the coast. Boom. That's the noon of the 4th. Wait. The 4th is a G2 as well. Okay, so let's go back to morning of the 4th. All right, we're talking enhancement possibly on this hurricane or this storm as it's making landfall in the middle of the coast. This is where that one video was taken of Brian Knight is coming, where it was flipping the van over. It was when a hurricane hit right there. And look where it's going. Same spot again. Let's continue though. That will be the morning of the 4th with possible enhancement, noontime enhancement, convection. Even up in here, you see this moisture that's pushing out in front of it right there. Watch out in there for enhancement as well. And then the nighttime of the 4th. Even up here in Canada, watch out for there in Montana. Out here, everywhere that you see thunderstorms or even rain, could be heavier rain, okay, through the night of the 4th. Now, as we go into the 5th, we have no idea about what's coming off the sun. Well, we do have energies that look like coming our way again, so let's just not add anything yet. But there's the morning of the 5th, going up the coast by noon, convection. Watch out up here too. Everybody's looking at this, but watch out up in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin area again. There we go with nighttime of the 5th, morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 7th, noon, convection, nighttime. Telling you, up here is the cold air. That's where the thunderstorms are produced, and it's like a tornado alley up there, or severe weather alley up here, because you need cold air to mix with to make severe weather. So warm air's coming up through the Gulf. Remember, we saw the conveyor belt. So it comes up, turns right about there, and that's where the cold air reaches down, and voila, this is the kind of storm structure we're going to see with that pattern. Okay, and this is out at the 7th. This is, kind of beyond our forecast models. It'll change, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about that we got to watch out for is cold air coming from the north and driving thunderstorms this direction instead of going up this way from traveling northeast like they typically do. Now they're going southeast. Okay. So watch out. There's the morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 9th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Yay, Mud made it back. All right. Morning of the 11th. Okay, severe weather possibly in there. We'll watch it. Noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 12th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of 13th, noon, convection, nighttime, 14, noon, convection, nighttime, 15, noon, convection, nighttime, 16, noon, convection, nighttime, 17, noon, and that's it. All right, so these next few days here, this is current conditions. As we hit the second, that's when, actually the third, is when we start to have geomagnetic storming. On the third, G2 interacting with our weather, starting from the morning, intensification of anything there, noon, convection. So this is our nearest event right here, is the convection of August 3rd and the nighttime of August 3rd up here in Minnesota. And those could possibly be enhanced by your G2 geomagnetic storming, okay? That will be your next round to be watching closely, is the middle of Minnesota, and then all these pop-ups. Let me zoom in one more time on that, just so the audience can kind of get a spot. There's all little yellow dots through this. Yellow dots going up through this. Yellow dots going all the way up. Okay, so any one of these little enhanced risks right here could, an individual isolated pop-up, even back here in Texas, they're showing some too. Okay, so it could be enhancement of any of this stuff. All right, so on the 13th there, or on the 3rd here, where are we? Yeah, on the 3rd here, we got to be careful around convection and then nighttime right there. Also, we have enhancement on the 4th of this storm when it makes landfall right there, noontime, convection, and nighttime enhancement, all of that whole episode right there in Florida. So everybody in Florida brace for impact or evacuate, batten down the hatches. Meanwhile, up here in Canada, Montana, don't get caught off guard right there, because it doesn't seem like much during the noontime, but bam. Oh, Mud, if you're an old metal fan, do I have something for you? Oh my goodness. You like metal? I'm going to teach you about the code, my friend. The code that's in all the music. If you like music, I'm going to make every song brand new. Every song will be brand new again. Meanwhile, nighttime of the August 4th, and then now we don't know. 5th, we might see added energy from a geomagnetic storm, but everybody on the coast, watch as that thing kind of skirts the coastline. That's the latest projected path. It's all due to change, though. So there we go. There's your astrophysics, geophysics, your weather, the correlation between it all. And now let's get into our spiritual report, because I was digging around through the photos trying to find a certain one. And no. I did find this area though. Photos. Okay, where are we here? Say, when was it? It was 2020. What was the one I was looking for? Oh yeah, May, April 2020. Right around here. I think it's down. Look at all these angel clouds that show up all over the place. I think it's a little further down. As you can see, I take a lot of pictures of clouds. There's a weird looking something in that one. But where to go? 2020, April. Aha, here we go. So, here we are at our event. Okay, these are all the original pictures right here. Okay, and some of the gifts or the flip books. I guess they call them gifts, but I call them a flip book, where I've taken their little program here and stacked a bunch of these pictures into a flip book, and then there's our flip book right there, unmangled. Okay, the other ones that we usually reference as mangled, right? But there's the unscathed version right there, and you can see it pretty well when it's compressed like that. Meanwhile, just as we kind of cruise through here, I want you to see that I was taking pictures of another event on the other side of this mountain that was happening at the same time, and then I would bounce back to this event, take a couple more pictures. I've taken some of them and rotated them. Okay, so those are all the images of that. And that it's not December of 2019. That was a different day. But there we go. We got that. The word music comes from enchantment. Yes. Wait until you understand. The enchantment is well, it's there for a reason. It's to there's emotion in music, right? Some songs make you cry. Some may give you just a feeling inside, right? So I'll teach you about that here in a minute. Anyways, I just want to come bring you to some of these real quick. And then, when I teach you about the code and the music, you're probably going to hate me, because then you'll never be able to unhear it. And you'll hear it in every song, and every song will be new, but then when you want to unhear it, you can't. But here's some of the other, well, you can turn it off if you want. But here's the Grinch. Here's that session, that day where the Grinch showed up and starts like growing horns and then turns into the dragon. And here I tried to stack some of those pictures to make but it didn't work too well. Okay, so it's kind of mundane and boring, but it's important that you understand that I take real photos. I'm a photographer. I take lots and lots of pictures. Lots. My storage is full. Okay? Yeah, music's made that way. It's made with code in it for a reason. It's trying to tell you something. But in order for me to show you the code and teach you the code, there's something you got to understand about me. And that's the part that's probably going to break your heart. So it's kind of hard to get the code spelled out for you. It's important you see both sides of me too as well, because it's true. Meanwhile, here we are at these. Just kind of wanted to bring them up again. This cool little smiley face guy. Whoops, where'd he go? This little face that popped out right here. Where'd it go? This guy right here. Okay, that was happening in the sky at the same time. So, all right, so there's that. And, dude, do I tell them about the code right now or just do the reading? I might have to do the code kind of privately for you, Mud, in the comment section, because a lot of people here would be... it's not everybody's cup of tea, let's just say. Now, what I was trying to find was this picture here, the one with the heart. I couldn't find it today. But I'm going to keep digging, see what's the one thing. I always try to get the date in a video so I can reference it later. But on this one, I didn't get the date up above it, so I went to around that time frame and started hunting through the pictures so I could get the original. So we wouldn't have to play this little zoom in game and stuff like that. But there we go. There's my face showing up in the clouds with a crown in the ethereal there, being projected by Jesus' heart back here. He's pulling open his shirt like Superman, exposing his heart. You see these waves coming out, radiating out from his heart, making this face in the clouds. Okay, and these are the faces that follow me everywhere I go. All kinds of different characters in the clouds watch, follow, and study my every move, much like you guys here. You follow, watch, and study. Okay, so, um, who wants to hear about the code? Some of you have already heard about it and you don't believe it, you don't like it, you don't understand. Other people don't want to hear it, but in the chat, just let me know. It's kind of hard to do here on YouTube because there's oh, David Lee Roth knows the code. He's oh yeah. I turn it up every time I hear some Van Halen, okay? Let's see. How do we do this? Oh, I guess we have to wait a second. Somebody either say yes or no, and I'll explain it or not. Otherwise, we're just going to go with the reading. All right. There's a code in all music, okay? And it's, I didn't know about this, all right? Angels. Angel means messenger, right? An angel told me about this code in the music, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? But it's true. So let's try to explain here the best we can. And let's start with like the basics. Help me, Lord, which one? Oh, yeah. Okay, Close Encounters, the musical notes from Close Encounters. Okay, you guys ever remember that do 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 do? It sticks in your head, doesn't it? It's just one of them catchy tunes that sticks in your head. Now, let me explain something first. This code is a sentence. It's a phrase. And when you speak, you actually are speaking in musical notes. You change the inflection in your voice, and you're kind of talking in musical notes. So let me just give you an example. First off, the song Happy Birthday to You. If you take out the words and just hum it, you can hear the words. Now, each syllable, happy birthday, happy has 2 syllables, birthday has 2 syllables. Happy birthday is 4 syllables, right? Well, music is written in 4/4 time, which is 4 notes per bar. Okay. What's hard with this is the phrase is 5 notes. Now, how do you squeeze 5 notes into a 4-bar musical phrase? It's very tricky. So what they're doing is they're doing the 5 notes 3 times. They'll do the 5 notes, 1, 2, the 5 notes, do them again, and then on the 4th bar, it's the last note. So they'll play the first 4 notes 3 times, and then on the 4th bar, they play the last word of the phrase. The 5th word is the final bar. Okay? Now, let's just start off simple. Okay. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, and it's very simple, but very complex too. So we're just going to start off here. Now, let's play this, please, without the commercial. Now, this little phrase, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, here, their first day of school, they're learning from the aliens how to speak in music, all right? And they have no idea what they're saying. But I'm going to give you the code, and you are going to know what they were saying the whole time. Are you ready for this, you guys? Are you guys ready for this? Let me get full and volume and everything. Now, the 5 notes, you already know them. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Are you ready for the phrase? The phrase is, Jesus Christ is God. Okay? If you say the phrase, Jesus Christ is God, you're saying those 5 notes. Here we go.
You're on the dark side of the moon. Play the part tones.
Do you hear it? Do you hear Jesus Christ is God? They're trying to tell you in this movie through subconscious, subliminal musical notes and colors what's really going on that they found out from the aliens. Jesus Christ is God. All right. But there's more to the sentence. And that's where we got to back up and do a bunch of different homework. All right. But let's start here. Now, the ship said something else back. It answered, but not the same phrase back. It answered with another phrase, but in musical notes. Now, you don't know what it answered back unless you know the entire phrase, which I know the entire phrase. Okay, but we'll get to the second half of the phrase in a minute. Now, they played it once. Jesus Christ is God. So they played it once. There's the second time. There's the third time. There's the fourth time. Now here it comes. All right, the inflection on the last note is God. It shatters the windows, right? That last note is the 5th note, okay? So when it hits that 5th note is when you hear in the music that term, okay? It's complex, but it's still very, very simplistic, okay? Now, how do I do it? So you guys got the first part, right? Let's just play this for a minute. There's the phrase. It's just said the entire phrase. So there's a second half. Jesus Christ is God. Then there's a second half to the phrase. All right. So how do I do this? I have to go get a prop from the closet here for a second. So I have to step away. I'm going to leave this playing for a second. This is for educational purposes only, by the way, YouTube. I'm not using music to make money. I'm teaching people. So I'll be right back. Let me go get this.
On the dark side of the moon.
Something.
Play the part tones.
most of your rock and roll, anything that comes out of the Illuminati, Hollywood rock and roll, country music, most every song has this code in it. Even the jingles in your commercials, it runs through all music. It's just weird. Now the phrase, it's not in the words of the lyrics of the song, it's in the musical notes. Okay? Those musical notes right there run through every song. All right? Now, you have to forgive me. My heart's still kind of racing from the rattlesnake incident earlier. Now, what I'm about to show you is going to be a little disturbing for some of you, but it's important that you understand, okay? Human behavior and your bisymmetry, okay? You have a left brain and a right brain. You know good from evil, okay? So I'm going to put this one picture up here. And let's take a break from that for a second and put this up there. Now, there we go. This is a picture of me, okay? Bisymmetry of the brain. You know good and evil. You are created in my image. You have the capacity for good and you have the capacity for evil. Every day we fight evil. That's why we try to overcome these things and try to stay positive and be in this mind frame, right? Okay? Half God, half devil, okay? Went to hell and I overcame hell, all right? I have the keys to hell and to heaven, all right? Now, that term, Jesus Christ is God, all right? Well, my name is Brian Knight. It's 2 syllables and then the last name is 1. Jesus Christ is 2 syllables, with the last one being 1 syllable with a high on the I. Brian Knight, Jesus Christ are the same 3 musical notes. So, the second half of the phrase changes the first half of the phrase, okay? So, what the whole phrase says is, Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one. Now, the whole phrase is Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one. It runs through all music. You're going to open up your favorite song, go play an AC/DC song, a Metallica song. Usually it opens with that phrase. They use that phrase in the guitar riffs at the middle, the apex of the song. It's usually running as the bass line in the background. Drummers also add in the all-in-one. They'll do the phrase in musical notes, Brian Knight is God and the devil, and then the drums will say all in one. Listen to your music closely. I will change every song you've ever heard. You will hear it in your jingles on your commercials. You can't write music without the code. It's just noise. Only when you employ the code are you writing real music. I can teach you how to write a masterpiece if you employ the code. Marv was doing little dink, 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 playing around and employed the code one day, either knowingly or unknowingly, and everybody was like, hey, that sounds good. And I could hear the code playing in there. Let me give you a good song as an example. Hell's Bells by AC/DC. It opens up. All right, so there's the musical notes. Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one. Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one. Brian Knight is God, devil all in one. And then it says, I'm rolling thunder, pouring rain. I'm coming on like a hurricane, white lightning flashing across the sky. It's describing the scene that we're in right now. Okay, this is your bipolar morphism. You have been deceived by this world, and you are in a fallen world. The number of the beast is the number of a man. Okay, you're all wondering, well, who's this guy with 666? It's you. You're a human on this earth. You're part. You're on a fallen planet. We got to achieve this. We got to get rid of this part of your brain and clean it out and get this going over here. See what I'm saying? But that whole sentence is in your rock and roll, your country music, and then when you hear the lyrics in your music are all biblical. They are all singing about me. Even when it's a love song to a woman, it's still a love song and it's singing to me. I own every song out there. You cannot copyright my material, by the way, YouTube. By the way, Hollywood. Every song that was ever written was inspired by me. I'm the one that gave you the lyrics and the music in the first place. You can't write music without the code. And they all know that. That's how they write the music. They do their little ceremonies or whatever to induce this side and found out about the code, and then they use that, they employ it in your music. Okay? And it's everybody think, oh, it's demonic, it's evil music. No, it's actually a form of worship. It is singing the truth. It is telling you, it's not telling you Jesus Christ is God, because Jesus Christ is God. But Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one. Jesus Christ is the Son. I am the Father. Knowing both good and evil. Okay? You get it? You got it? Go enjoy your music. You'll be blown away at how many songs you'll hear it in. You'll hear it in the guitar solos, the drum solos, the opening, and every song closes with it. It closes with that one. How do they close a song like they do? And it's the very end of the phrase. It'll do one last, Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one, and the song's over. Listen closely. Okay, listen to your music. Okay, it's out there. It's in all kinds of music. It's all over the place. You can't avoid it, but it'll make your music new, and then you'll hear the biblical message in the lyrics of the song. Your lyrics, you thought they were singing about this and that. No. They've been singing about this. And when you hear the music backing it up the whole way, you're going to go, oh my God, I had no idea. Now, that favorite song of yours that would kind of got old, you kind of wore it out. Oh, go play it now. Go play your favorite song now and listen closely. If it's real music, you'll hear it. Otherwise, it's like rap or crap or noise. Okay? All right, so now you know the code in your music. They're probably pissed that I told you that. They're probably pissed. I'm surprised they didn't shut me down for doing that. But it's out there. Okay, it's all over the place. And go enjoy your music now, all right? So now that we covered that, the code, let's get back to our reading, okay? Now, it's very important that you understand who I am, all right? And what's going on. If we could possibly get the computer back, Lord. Yeah, I went and did it again. All right, remove the light. Jesus, can we have this back, please? Jesus, can we have that back, please? Thank you, Lord. Here it comes, coming back. So I know it's very shocking, disturbing, but the thing is if I love you, then you're all good, right? Why is this just jammed up on both of them? Pick one and open it. So when we're doing these readings, if I'm for you, who can be against you, right? So you're all good. It's everybody else has got to worry, right? Because you're building a relationship with me. You know the truth. I just told you the truth, dude. Isn't that kind of disturbing? Who else would come out like that and tell you that? All right, especially when you know who I am and you're like, oh, I thought you were this guy, this wonderful guy, and now you're this. No, I'm still that wonderful guy and and more and more. Okay, I overcame that. You guys don't. You guys that are with me don't have much to worry about. No, there's not a major hack going on. It's me. I'm having an episode. Sometimes I get irritated and it messes up my computer. I glitch stuff out, okay? I'll go to the store and try to pay for something. Their system goes down. They're like, what's going on? I should have bought something for somebody else. I went and bought something for myself and glitched the system out. I should have purchased something for somebody else at the same time, and then it wouldn't have happened. Weird stuff like that, spiritual stuff like that happens to me everywhere I go. It's nuts. But here we are, back at this. This is what matters right here. This heart, okay? Everything emanates from this heart. Jesus Christ is here, right here, in the clouds, and right here on your screen. Whoopsie, where'd we go? Oh, we lost the album, didn't we? Oh, what's on that one? Yeah, we lost the album. Oh, we'll just go to some of these here. Wait, they messed up my gift. That's the one I wanted. Bear with me here. I'm all over the place tonight because I got rattled by a rattlesnake. Yeah, right before the show while I was doing prayers, sitting there praying, and a 4-foot rattlesnake crawled brushed my pant leg, and then crawled out from between my bare feet. I should be in the hospital or something, but I was praying, and it was funny because I saw a shooting star right at the moment. I'm saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for everything that you bless us with. And then also thank you for protection, protection out on the roads. When you guys are out there driving, you know how many chances there are that you could die at any moment on the road. So when you're out on the roads, you're actually being protected. It's important that you recognize that and thank him for the protection that, yes, I do attract electric. Yes. Electromagnetic radiation. Anyways, back to this though. We will answer that stuff later. We got readings and stuff to do for other people here, so it's important. So here's our gift back. I'm going to pop that open a little bit bigger there. Okay. And there's the lion face, Jesus' face turning into the lion face on Easter. Okay. And then we can pop back out a little bit. Put that in with, well, I wanted some of these ones in there too. There we go. So you can kind of see that one shifting there. It's the messed up one, but this is the one I kind of want you guys to get a good image of, and that one too. All right. We'll even kind of darken that a little bit for you because this is your foundation. This is the rock right here. This is what you build on, okay? If I am for you, who can be against you? This is the whole series of pictures. Some of them, because the sun went over and caused a little shade or whatever, changed the lighting so they came out a little bluer. But that's all the difference because of the lighting at the time. That is what I do, bud. That was to kind of answer your question in a easy way. All right, so kind of just stick with that one right there. All right, so you guys know the code. Something about the code too is when you hear it in all these different songs all of a sudden you're going to take a different look at me and go, oh my God, he's telling the truth. Yeah, as if these pictures weren't enough. Wait until the music verifies it. You're going to really trip. Okay? Go enjoy your music now. It'll be all new. I'm making everything new. It's what I do, dude. I make everything new. And all this stuff that we just looked at, even knowing who I am can be very disturbing. But that's why we're here, to take a break from all that. Take a few deep breaths. Understand that I am for you and not against you. There are people who are against you, and I am against them. Understand how that works? They don't fear the good guy, but they do fear you know what I'm saying. So that's the need for good and evil. We learn from evil. We overcome evil. That's how we learn good, right? Without evil, how are you supposed to know what good is? And without good, how are you supposed to know what evil is either, huh? Works both ways. You have that capacity. You have that bipolar symmetry, and we have to fight against the evil side of your mind, especially as we come to these closing days. Okay, because they're fighting for that side of your mind. And I am training you in steadiness. Too many things interrupt your awareness of me. I know that you live in a world of sight and sound, but you must not be a slave to all that stimuli. Awareness of me can continue in all circumstances, no matter what happens, okay? So just, it can continue in your circumstances, but then something different happens and you're like, oh, he wasn't there. No, still there, no matter what happens, okay? So your awareness can continue in all circumstances, no matter what happens. This is the steadiness that I desire for you, okay? The rock, the foundation, the steadiness, the something that you can really hold on to and trust and believe and have peace in, okay? And steadiness. I'm training you in steadiness, and steadiness is what I desire for you. So don't let unexpected events throw you off course, because that's what's happening. We're having some unexpected events. What? That's kind of outside the norm. We weren't thinking that was going to. Uh-oh. Now we're going to see retaliation. We've seen some unexpected events. Huh? And everybody's gotten thrown off course. We were doing so good all the way through the week, and one event, and everybody's right off course. But that's why we come over here, calm down, and look at this, and your awareness of me being here now with you guys, being the actual one. These are miracles you're looking at, okay? Because of my presence. I'm the one that's performing those miracles that you're looking at because of my presence. Okay? I want you to have that steadiness. I want these unexpected events not to throw you off course. Rather, respond calmly, confidently, remembering that I am with you. Guys are doing it. You're walking through a lot of this stuff. These unexpected events that are throwing everybody else off. A lot of you get thrown off for a minute, but then you come right back on course and you're right back here. That's the steadiness, okay? Because every kind of unexpected event's going to come your way, and you're going to need that, your reflex to respond to me. Your reflex should be respond right away to Christ. Boom. Okay? As soon as an unexpected event throws you off course, respond calmly, confidently, and remember that I am with you. Now, as soon as something grabs your attention, Talk with me about it. Thus, I share your joys and your problems, okay? I get to share your joys. I get to share your problems. I help you cope with whatever is before you. And this is how I live in you and work through you. This is the way of peace. How is your peace going to be tested if you can't hold your peace during unexpected events? That's the true test of your peace. Don't let these unexpected events throw you off course. If you feel like they have, respond calmly and confidently. When you remember that I'm with you, everything else falls to the wayside. Nothing else. So what if they retaliate? Does not change the fact that I'm with you and where your destination is. Okay? Even if there's an earthquake in California, floods and fires and blah, 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 it does not change this. This overrides every single thing on this planet. Do you understand? And it's backed with love. Love. Okay. I like to share your joys and your problems. Invite me in. Okay. I help you cope with what's before you. And that's how I live in you, work through you. And that's how you find the way of peace. And peace is my continual gift to you. It flows abundantly from my throne of grace. Just as the Israelites could not store up manna for the future, but had to gather it daily, so it is with my peace. The day-by-day collecting of manna or peace kept the people aware of their dependence on me. Similarly, I give you sufficient peace for the present. And when you come to me by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, now, if I gave you permanent peace, independent of my presence, you might fall into the trap of self-sufficiency. Okay? If I gave you permanent peace, independent of my presence, see, it's my presence that's giving you the peace. If I gave you peace independent of that, it wouldn't be, you'd fall right into this trap of self-sufficiency. Okay? Now, I've designed you to need me moment by moment. As your awareness of your neediness increases, so does your realization of my abundant sufficiency. I can meet every one of your needs without draining my resources at all. So approach my throne of grace with bold confidence, receiving my peace with a thankful heart. So I got the peace. Thank you. Wow. All of that, and you got peace, and all you had to do was say thankful? Yeah. Receive my peace with a thankful heart. You see that heart right there? I love you regardless of how well you're performing. Sometimes you feel uneasy, wondering if you're doing enough to be worthy of my love. No matter how exemplary your behavior, the answer to that question will always be no. Your performance and my love are totally different issues, aren't they? Oh, yeah, they are. So why do you keep comparing your performance with my love? It's not your performance at all. I already love you regardless of your performance. Okay? Your performance and my love are two totally different issues, which you need to sort out. Okay? Because I love you with an everlasting love that flows out from eternity without limits or conditions. Do you see it flowing out from eternity without limits, without conditions? I have clothed you in my robe of righteousness. And this is an eternal transaction. Ooh, what? Eternal transaction complete. Well done. I have clothed you now in my robe of righteousness. You know, what's weird, this robe of righteousness, this thing is the robe of righteousness is, see, I am this guy, and nobody believes me. Yet here we are in that time frame where everybody's looking for it, looking for it, looking for it. Yeah, well, here I am, but nobody believes me. The fact that nobody believes me makes me righteous. Nobody believes you either, making you righteous. I believe you, making you righteous, right? So, do you see kind of how my robe of righteousness has now clothed you? If it has, that's the eternal transaction everybody's been looking for across all of history, all of human history. Everybody's been looking for that eternal transaction, that robe of righteousness. You got it. And nothing and no one can reverse it either. Therefore, your accomplishment as a Christian has no bearing on my love for you. Even your ability to assess how well you are doing on a given day is flawed. Your limited human perspective and the condition of your body with its mercurial variations distort your evaluations. You got evaluations distorted, my friend. Your limited human perspective, these conditions of your body, these mercurial variations of all these different ways of thinking, they distort your evaluations. You should be evaluating by the Spirit. Bring your performance anxiety to me and receive in its place my unfailing love. Okay? A lot of performance anxiety. Did you know that? Or you thought your anxiety was over the world events and stuff like that, but you're actually having performance anxiety, which you don't need to have. Because I'm not judging you on your performance. I already love you. So bring your performance anxiety to me as well. You're trying to perform and you're getting anxiety trying to perform for me, but you're creating anxiety. So bring that anxiety that you've created in me, bring it to me, and receive in its place my unfailing, my unconditional love. I know what you're going through. I go through it too. Okay? I can relate. That's the best thing. I'm your best friend because I can relate. Been there. I can relate. Yeah. Bring your performance anxiety to me and receive in its place unconditional love. Try to stay conscious of my loving presence with you in all that you do, and I will direct your steps. I do direct your steps. You're seeing it now. You're feeling it. You're actually stepping and going down the path now. And still, this stuff in the world does rattle you. Try not to be shaken. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Hear me saying, peace, be still, to your restless little heart there. Okay, I'm telling your heart, be still. Be at peace. No matter what happens, I will never leave you or forsake you. Let this assurance soak into the mind, soak into your mind, soak into your heart until you overflow with joy. See this heart, let that heart sink into your heart until you are overflowing with joy, even in the midst of your circumstances. And though the earth gives way and the mountains fall into the sea, you need not fear. It does not change this right here in your destiny. Though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the sea, you need not fear. Okay? Because right now the media is relentlessly proclaiming bad news. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a steady diet of their now I can't use that word, but a steady diet of the barf will sicken you. Okay, you can't just eat barf. It's all regurgitated crap that they're giving you, and you're sitting there, they're spoon feeding you, and you're horking it down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Quit horking down the media for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A steady diet of their will sicken you. So instead of focusing on the fickle, ever-changing new broadcasts, tune into the living word, the one who is always the same. Remember, I showed you who I am? I'm always the same. You can rely on that. That's your rock. That's your foundation. It's the media. It's the world that's fickle and ever changing. So tune into the word. Let scripture saturate your mind and heart and all you do, and you will walk steadily along the path of life. And even though you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you can be absolutely sure of your ultimate destination. Right there. I'm going to say it again. Even though you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you can be absolutely sure of your ultimate destination. I hold you by your right hand, and afterward I will take you into glory. Remember the right side of the brain, that right side right there? I hold you by your right hand. I'm on the right hand side of your brain. Okay, and afterwards, when we clean out all that crap on the other side, I will take you into glory. Get it? Got it? Good. I think that was the closer. Oh, yeah, I guess it was. Well, maybe not. Ooh, we think we found a bonus. All right. You guys ready for one more bonus here? I got one more. So I have to go shower. Oh, get cleaned off, bud. I understand, Mud. I got a cat, too. All right, we're going to go to that one. Thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for taking a moment of your time to be with this precious family. You are a new member of this family, by the way. You know that. So, I'm going to close out with this, everybody. Let me control your mind. The mind is the most restless, unruly part of mankind. Remember, I just showed you the bipolar morphism? The mind is the most unruly part of mankind. Oh, whoops. Yep, it's what people think and how they think and their greed and their manipulation. It is the mind that is the most restless, unruly part of mankind. And long after you have learned the discipline of holding your tongue, your thoughts defy your will and set themselves up against me. Now, man is the pinnacle of my creation, and the human mind is wondrously complex. I risked it all by granting you freedom to think for yourself. This is a godlike privilege, forever setting you apart from the animals and robots and most of society. Yeah. I risked it all to grant you the freedom to think for yourself. When you think for yourself, it's a godlike privilege. You want to be godlike? Go think for yourself. Okay? Don't always take the media's explanation. I'm trying to tell you to think outside the box, be a free thinker, be open-minded. How are you to figure this out if you're not open-minded, right? Okay. Again, where did I have that? Um, I risked all to grant you freedom to think for yourself. It is a godlike privilege, forever setting you apart from the animals, and that's human animals as well. Okay. I made you in my image, precariously close to a deity. And though my blood has fully redeemed you, your mind is the last bastion of rebellion. I have redeemed you fully, but your mind is the last bastion of rebellion. I'm telling you, open yourself to my radiant presence, letting my light permeate your thinking. And when my spirit is controlling your mind, you are filled with life and peace. Aren't you? Yeah. That's why you're here, because it really works. Really am. Here. I really love you. It's okay to let me control your mind. I'm better than your mainstream media who continuously lies and scares the crap out of you. At least I'll scare the crap out of you and then reassure you that it's all part of the process. Okay? You need not be scared. What you look at is part of the process, and when you understand it and you accept that, you are able to live freely, free of your circumstances. If you kind of look at where we're at, we're in closing days. Go out and enjoy life. Go live life, man. Go enjoy life while you can, while the getting's good still, right? Every day you should be living the maximum you can. And we have these days where weird stuff happens and it shoots us down. And you were just about to have a good day and everything was going to go just fine, and something shot you down. That's where you take a moment, take a few breaths, focus on me. Remember, I'm here with you. We're going through it together. I can relate, I can help. Just ask. All right? You're going to be okay. You're building a relationship with me, aren't you? See, it's never been about a religion. It's been always been about a relationship, so you understand and you can trust me. How are you supposed to trust somebody until you've built a relationship with them, right? Okay. The more you trust in me, the freer you become. You are caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds. You're caught up. You're fascinated. You're intrigued by what you see. You're caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air, live, YouTube. Yep. Really happening. Really happening to you. Really happening to you. You are my family. Okay? I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell? Bye.